The following SpongePod is brought to you by the Krusty Krab. Tim, do you like fast food?
I would say I like most fast food. Subway, Taco Bell, cheap stuff.
Okay, you like cheap stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, if you think that most fast food is trash, unlike my buddy Tim, let me tell you that the Krusty Krab is legit. Okay, Mr. Krabs invited me back very recently, and I honestly was just amazed at the process of how they really made all their food. Everything is made to order, and their ingredients are all real. None of it is fake cheese. None of this fake burger. It's all real to me, an all real experience.
You know, I have also met Mr. Krab, although I did not get the back tour.
Oh yeah,
experience.
You met him? You met this character?
I did.
Yeah.
I did
What's his favorite color then, Tim?
Red.
Oh, red. It's because of his skin.
It's because he's red.
Wow.
Is that accidentally?
Wow, season 2's gone to a racist component.
Yeah, is it accidentally racist?
All right, check out the Krusty Krab for all the authentic food experience.
Oh!
And welcome to the SpongePod, the official, unofficial podcast of SpongeBob SquarePants, where we overanalyze every single episode and get down to the bikini bottom of your fan theories. I'm your host and in-house SpongeBob expert, Eric. Are you ready, Tim?
Aye, Captain.
Awesome. Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2 is better than Season 1. It is going to be, we're also not going to take a year and a half off in between each episode.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, it was the finances, right?
Yeah.
Our financial department. Our producers just couldn't keep up with our speed, and so they had to. No. I could tell you about all the different things that I was doing. I'll probably tell you that I was busy. But to be honest, I really wasn't that busy. I don't know. It just kind of fell away from us. We're not really financially tied to this whole thing. But hey, big shout out to the people who have been really pushing us to get back into the studio being my living room. Big shout out to Rick Morgan and Shelby Watson. I actually rolled a dice roll. We do this betting system, and I lost the dice roll and was supposed to get the SpongePod on about a month ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
But I lost that bet. But I'm gonna come through on this one. So we are so happy to be back. We hope that we will not take another year and a half to do episode 17. But all that to be said, if you want to see a social media profile that hasn't done anything since last April, go check out our Twitter, our Facebook, and our YouTube. We're gonna start activating some of that stuff back up and try to get back with you guys. If you have a question, shoot us an email at thespongepod@gmail.com. Yeah, we have a really great episode today. The Squeaky Boots episode, episode 16. Pretty cool episode. It's one of those pivotal episodes that I think a lot of people remember about SpongeBob. It's just one of those like iconic ones, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's typical SpongeBob where it starts very minimal premise.
Oh, yeah.
And then just goes off the rails, by the end of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. We're also going to be speaking with our fashionista, Julia Little. She doesn't know that we're speaking with her yet, but we're going to coax her into it. Let's go right into the first act. Eugene is performing a truly daunting dance for his daughter Pearl and her friends at her birthday party. And Pearl goes to open all of her presents to find her father indeed did not get her one of the new flipper slippers that the rest of her friends had, but actually bought her some massive rubber boots. Right? Her friends laugh at her as Eugene has now ruined Pearl's life for good. Eugene goes back to his office at the Krusty Krab, lamenting that he spent a pretty penny on the boots, and decides to entice SpongeBob to take them off his hands. Our hero falls for this bait and agrees to take them off Krusty Krab's hands for the steep price of a paycheck and a painting of the Krusty Krab for free. SpongeBob hops into his new boots, excited about his new purchase. Now, the first thing I want to note about this is it's just daunting that literally every episode that like Eugene is in, he seems to be the enemy.
Yeah,
he's like nonstop.
He's almost like a lovable enemy somewhat, but you're like, wait a minute.
You kind of want him to succeed ultimately and not get hurt too bad. You know, like this episode, we see him break both of his legs.
Right.
And I think there's this moment where you're like, the first one breaks and you're like, he fell out the window.
Right.
But the second one breaks, you're like, man, I feel bad. He broke both of his legs. You know, there's like a certain threshold of like pain that you want like Eugene to
Yeah.
go through. Did you find something fan theory wise?
I did. Yeah, we've got a fan theory from user cmonster23star3 on SpongeBob.com. He, she, it, or they says, the Flipper Slippers design is based off of a Dutch wooden shoe. This is proof that Bikini Bottom is located right outside of Europe, as these shoes were obviously trash that floated away from a nearby location.
Which we've heard that theory quite a bit. Yeah, and I kind of like it. I actually, my dad was actually born in Holland. And so when I was like a little kid, we went to the Netherlands, which for some of you geographical times, that's the same country. I didn't know that. It took me years after going to the Netherlands to know that Holland and the Netherlands were the same. Anyway, we did get some wooden shoes. I believe I have them in storage somewhere. But yeah, that tracks. This is the design of it is pretty similar, especially for like, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem as though many of the showrunners have a whole lot of like a Dutch heritage. It just doesn't seem like, it seems like they were mostly Americans. Mm-hmm. I might be completely wrong on that though.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I am the expert, so I should know these things. The other thing that really hit me is just the ability for Mr. Krabs to just think on his feet. Like his ability to create this like backstory for these like, it's almost like he went to Walmart and like he should be a salesman for Walmart.
Yeah.
Because he went to a place that has just like the most normal, yes, I'm taking a shot at you, Walmart. Just the most normal like apparel.
Yeah.
And he's able to just spin it in a way in which like the person actually wants to buy and wear that thing.
Yeah.
He basically spent $2 on a shoe, and like let's just assume, that SpongeBob is like making a normal salary.
Yeah.
Like a 2-week paycheck is like what, $1,300 usually, like $1,100 or so. $1,100. He has to buy paint for the entire store,
right?
Which is easily. I mean, just the material alone would probably cost like $200 or $300.
Yeah.
And, the physical service of painting it would be, I mean, if you're charging by the hour, easily another like $200 or $400.
Yeah.
At the very least. And that's like not Charlie Grimes numbers. That's like Eric doing it like, with a bag of coffee type thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, he easily like gutted him for $2,000.
Yeah. Oh, a solid $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And for $2, pair of shoes. I don't know. And all that to be said, SpongeBob also needs to learn basic economics. He has to realize that and I'm in a fantasy football league, there's a lot of fantasy football drafts going on right now. And a lot of people make trades that are just like goofy. They make trade offers where you're like, I'm going to trade you this really great player for 2 really crappy players. Like the 2 crappy players, if you stack them on top of each other, they're one really good person. So yeah, SpongeBob needs to learn himself some economics. Going right into the second act, Krusty Krab is squeaking as SpongeBob is busy at work wearing his new shoes. It is starting to annoy everyone, as we all know that sound of the squeak is pretty horrid. SpongeBob continues to show off his new abilities due to the boots, while irritating Squidward in the process. Mr. Krabs, while sleeping, starts to hear the squeak in his sleep. After a sleepless night, Squidward demands a vacation because of SpongeBob's squeaky boots. Mr. Krab watches SpongeBob perform with his boots, all while continuing to be haunted by our hero's squeaky boots. Now, in this scene, not only do we see Mr. Krabs break his 2 legs basically in the middle of the night, he rips them in half.
Yeah.
Which is even more daunting than breaking them, right? Because the next scene we see just some light tape around it. Yeah. And it's just ridiculous that he just rips his leg in half, and all of a sudden, like, it's all good. He just, he's good. That's the way Mr. Krabs is. But not only did he break his legs, he's just like really daunted and guilty by selling this thing. And I think it really is the 1,000% uptake that he took on the shoes. But I mean, what do you think? What do you think he's really haunted by? Like, is there a moral compass to Mr. Krabs?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if part of it that plays into it is like, he feels guilty about also not getting Pearl what she wanted. Like, so he's still like kind of guilty over that, and then this like just combines together.
So it's almost like double disappointment. Like he disappointed
yeah.
SpongeBob inherently by selling him some shoes that he had no business buying at that price, but also the fact that his daughter is just really disappointed in him.
Yeah.
And now it's probably the laughing stock of the school. His daughter is now going to gain probably, lose some friends.
Right.
She's probably going to lose that scholarship, that she was going to go to college with. She's probably going to become like some menial job,
Working at the Krusty Krab.
Working at the Krusty Krab, working right with her dad. She tells everybody that, I own the business.
Yeah.
But secretly she's crying in the inside because she wanted to be a movie star. She wanted to be a singer, right? And it all started off with these stupid shoes. It all started with the shoes.
It's a really dark SpongeBob episode.
And then one day she's going to have kids. She's going to look at the kids and say, you have all the opportunities I don't have, right? She's going to look at the kids and say that to the kids. And then the kids are going to be off and they're going to be hippies because she's a conservative.
Right.
They're going to be hippies. They're going to be liberals. And then it's just going to create just this generational confusion for the rest of the Eugene, family
Krabs
tree.
line.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, Mom, come to my improv show. And it's like, no, I can't go to another improv show.
I can't do another improv show. I know that you're an improv master. You also, you're a vegetarian, right? You also can't eat anything that's hotter than 25 degrees. Whatever's hip in the future, I don't know. That last one's probably stupid. But did you find something on social media?
This one comes from Reddit user DookieDoo2932.
Nice name.
Great name. This is a situation in SpongeBob where we see the placebo effect in full. SpongeBob wasn't given shoes that would actually affect the way he works. He only believes he has because Mr. Krabs told him so.
That's crazy. That's interesting.
Yeah, but he's putting out the
Is the placebo effect real, though? I mean, do people, is that like a legitimate science thing? I'd love for someone to shoot us an email and say, hey, that is real. Because I feel like that's a bunch of bull.
The real key to the placebo effect, I believe, is not knowing.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it seems hilarious to me that, and I guess I don't know how serious the disease has ever been that the placebo effect has ever been used on. But it seems ridiculous to me that there's like a pill that could affect, your bodily symptoms around cancer. And then you give a person a sugar pill saying, hey, this is going to, solve all your dreams. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're an NFL football quarterback. You know what I mean? They're like playing for the Bills because the Bills sign people like that.
Right.
And like all of a sudden they're doing it. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me that a sugar pill can reroute your body like that. Well, anyway, moving on to the third act, Mr. Krabs finally blows a fuse. He runs into the office to be released of the agony of the boots. That night, Eugene sneaks into SpongeBob's home and steals the boots. Clearly the professional work of someone to join George Clooney in the next Ocean's film. Mr. Krabs is relieved to not hear the boots anymore. SpongeBob comes into work distraught over losing the boots, only sending Mr. Krabs into more of a guilt-ridden depression. Eugene starts to hear the squeaks in his everyday life, and this throws him into a manic state. He grabs the boots from under the store and eats them. The entire store looks on at horror as Mr. Krabs is truly gone local. He finally takes a vacation with his daughter after some stress has been, taken off. But then he hiccups and he hears the boots. What a twist at the end there, right? This is, I don't know if anyone knows this, but this was actually directed by Darren Aronofsky. Because holy crap, the end of this thing will give you a bit of a hangover. If you're like really watching the art, for a normal SpongeBob, where it makes you happy, it makes you all floaty. The end of this thing will really, and it's funny because like the way this was blocked together, it was blocked together with the space one.
Oh yeah.
And the space one gets kind of spooky too. Yeah. The space one gets it's the space one where basically SpongeBob and Patrick believe they've gone to the moon, but they're actually they're actually in Bikini Bottom. And basically they start bagging all their friends, and it's like kind of this weird, like, okay, SpongeBob and Patrick have gone kind of off the rails.
Yeah.
This one we see Eugene going off the rails.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man, they were trying to get under their audience or something like that. Tim, what'd you find?
I found this fan theory on FaceTime from Cool Cats Drew 2291. They say, this SpongeBob episode proves the merit of good deal making. It is a usual occurrence to see someone hearing squeaks as a psychological trauma after ripping someone off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard? I guess I haven't really ripped too many people off.
Yeah.
To be able to like legitimize this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think? I guess that seems kind of real. It could be a manifestation. I mean, I think that guilt sort of comes up in any sort of way. Mm-hmm. Basically, when I was a kid, I was like, I got guilt. I felt like the feeling of guilt whenever the garage door went up, because I was like, oh man, I did something wrong. Here comes Dad to kind of mess with me, or not mess. Wow, that sounded horrible. Here comes my dad to discipline me for doing something wrong, and I didn't always do something wrong.
Yeah.
But I still got that feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
But I guess that does. I mean, did you ever have any triggers as a kid, or even nowadays?
I mean, honestly, what's funny is like also the garage door.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny that many people have dealt with the trauma of the garage door.
Yeah. I like kind of like, I mean, you were just talking about it, where you kind of like stop, look around.
You're
Dishes.
like, what did I do today?
You're like,
yeah.
dishes done. Okay, clothes, hamper. All right, good. We're kind of like
good.
set.
I'm alive.
What should I look like I'm doing when they open the door?
Exactly. Tim, I want to have a serious conversation with you about religion.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay, so how much do you worship your morning coffee?
Oh, morning coffee. Went different direction than I thought.
Maybe.
Little bit.
Little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You have the faith of a mustard seed to your coffee. Is that correct?
I would say even less.
Even less
than
oh my gosh. How do you expect to wake up? How do you expect to have a far too early bowel movement without your morning Joe? I don't know where we've gone off the rails with this thing. Well, if you're very specific about starting off your day on the right flipper, make sure to check out Last Chance Coffee, located near Las Vegas. This is the last chance to grab some morning Joe before the edge of the world. Okay? So, Tim, if you want to get better at having a more religious behavior experience with your coffee, I would encourage you to check out Last Chance Coffee, and I would encourage you to get a group of guys together to keep you accountable for your coffee intake. Can you agree to this?
I think so.
That's the only way to get yourself up in the morning. Last Chance Coffee. Welcome back to the SpongePod. We're here with a special guest. We're here with the schmools herself, Julia Little, our fashionista. How's it going, Julia?
It's going great. So happy to be here.
Awesome. You are wearing a very fashionable attire.
Absolutely.
You want to describe yourself?
Of course. Right now, I'm wearing a crown of porcupine thorns.
Yes, it's very pointy.
As well as a very fitted crop top, very fitted.
And it looks just exquisite. Like, it looks like something we could eat.
Yes, that's exactly how I was going to describe it.
Yeah, very good.
And then I just have a flowing sweatpants skirt.
Yeah. So it's comfortable, but it's also fashionable.
People look at me when I walk down the street.
Yeah, in general. But also with this
with specifically this outfit on.
Exactly. Well, we were talking about a highly fashionable episode of the SpongePod. It's not the SpongePod, it's the SpongeBob. And we're just talking fashion. And in this episode, we see Pearl. She kind of deals with her father being cheap, buying her these big rubber boots. How fashionable are those rubber boots currently compared to the wooden-looking flipper slippers that she was wearing?
For the time that the show was on, the flipper slippers, height of fashion.
Height, okay.
Height, but quickly faded. The black rubber boots, That's kind of what would be compared to mom jeans, but now they're called
Okay.
high-waisted jeans.
High-waisted, yeah.
Timeless.
See, I would never know the difference. I'm just wearing the same football shirt that I wore back in high school right now. So I'm really happy you're on. So why did the flipper slippers go out of fashion? Is it because they're made of wood and they can literally, splinter your feet?
Yes, there were too many foot injuries.
Okay.
So that was a major one, but beauty is pain. People worked through that.
Yeah.
It's really the construction.
Oh, okay.
You just hear someone coming a mile away. They're like clogs.
I also bet it was bad for the environment to make all those wooden shoes.
Yeah, I mean, who wants trees?
True. As a woman, if I can call you that, who was previously a teenage girl, if I could call you that as well, how hard is it to deal with parents who just don't want to spend the money that it takes for you to be up on the current trends?
I'll tell you, true fashionistas, money is no object.
Okay.
And not that I would spend a lot, but being creative with what you have is more important than
A good trip
spending
to
your money.
Goodwill, right?
Precisely. Or through the dumpster behind Costco.
Oh. I hear Kroger has some good clothes too.
It depends on the day of the week.
You're in a different place now though. You can afford, the top brand, the Versace.
Obviously.
Yeah. So obviously you don't need to go to Kroger and try to rip some stuff in, two to make it look like a crop top.
No, strictly Target.
Target, yeah, absolutely. But so this whole makes sense to you that there would be some pressure from Pearl to Eugene, who never wants to spend any money. It makes sense that like the teenage girl would just be irrational about fashion, or is that just some sort of like box that we've kind of put teenage girls in?
Pearl deserves to be in that box.
Okay.
Other teenage
She's pretty
girls-
one-sided.
Yeah, she's not. She doesn't have a lot of depth.
She's not a Kelly Kapinski.
Yes.
Sorry. She's not.
No, not at all. Her knowledge is completely shallow.
I had such a crush on Kelly Kapinski. Anyway, how important is it to
jump in here real quick? It's
only with my permission?
Kelly Kapowski.
Oh my gosh.
And you liked her so much.
You got the right last name.
Anyway, all the way back to the because we didn't cut that segment at all. Hey, Julia, how important is it to stay current with the fashion world?
Of utmost importance.
Okay. Of all the things that are important in life, I know you have a kid now. Of all the things that are important in life, how important is fashion?
Fashion and my child are in the top 5.
Top 5? Wow.
Yeah.
What are the other 3?
Well, of course, loved ones.
Loved ones. Okay.
Couponing.
I know you love your good coupons.
You have to coupon, or what are you doing with your life?
And then the last one, which I'm guessing is number 1.
Number 1 is articulation.
Articulation. To be articulate.
Yes.
About your certain points.
Yes.
That is a good point. My last question for you. Thanks so much for joining us again here on the SpongePod. Is life real at all?
As far as I know it to be, absolutely not.
And that is all we have for you, Julia. Thanks for joining us here on the SpongePod.
Anytime.
All right, that was awesome. What a great episode to come back on, right? I mean, we had a great conversation with Julia right there about fashion. We were able to really dig into the episode and how we were able to analyze the fashion of the episode. But also just to be back since last April 2018. It's been a while, but I'm happy that we're back. We're going to do this with a bit more gusto coming forward. We have some time to be able to record some episodes, and we're just really excited to be back. We're really pumped to bring you guys some more over-analysis of SpongeBob here on the SpongePod. I just want to give a quick shout out to our data research by Stephen A. Smith, our associate producer, Max Kellerman. Creative producer is Mike Greenberg. We have our child care producer, that's Christina Crosley. Our office assistant is Zach Cooper. Our audio engineer is Jessica Brummett. Music by DJ Eugene. And our music and cover art are by the man, the myth, the Milky, Michael G. right? Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at the SpongePod, as well as YouTube. We also accept your email questions at thespongepod@gmail.com. And I gotta say, buddy, it's so good to be back. It was a beauty that killed the beast before they had the chance to watch SpongePod.
Truly epic.
Truly epic. Do you know what that's from?
I know, because it's on the script.
Because it's on the script. You dirty man. We are going to be back with more episodes next week. Have a good week.